Hey, blessed ambassadors! Welcome to today's edition of What's on My Mind. Oh. Hey guys, answer this question. What was a more useful invention than the first telephone? What was a more useful invention than the first telephone? The second telephone! Da-da-da, bing. And, oh yeah, aside from that, I just wanted you to know, like I bought a chicken to make some sandwiches, but he refuses to do so. He refuses to. Okay, yeah, moving on. Hey guys, as usual, I'm so excited about what I get to share with you today. And let me start this. Let me start this way. Well, besides the jokes, I encourage you, encourage you. Listen to the last two messages from Pastor Prince, right? How to hear God's voice and speak by faith, not by sight. How to hear God's voice, speak by faith, not by sight. And if possible, listen to them back to back because they are so interwoven, but more importantly, ambassadors. I believe that through those messages, the Lord has released through Pastor a now word for us and for the rest of this year, because the rest of this year is the best of this year, right? For you and for me, in the name of Jesus. But seriously, those messages are amazing. And before I get into that let me say this. What I want to share with you today has been brewing inside of me for about 3 weeks. So 3 weeks ago, I thought I would share it, what I'm going to share today. And the Lord said, nope. And then 2 weeks ago, it's like, okay, now I'm ready. Nope. Last week, I thought, okay, now for sure. It's like, nope. And now I understand why. Now I understand why, because what I get to share with you today is flows really perfectly with what Pastor preached in the last two messages, how to hear God's voice and speak by faith, not by sight. Okay, I really enjoy, and I'm blessed this way, I really enjoy working out. Yep, I do. I know it's going to be strenuous. There's going to be some very uncomfortableness and some pain sometimes, right? But no pain, no gain. Now, that's a bunch of baloney. But, I mean, it is. As I push myself and I challenge myself, I keep going outside my comfort zone. And outside my comfort zone is where a lot of good things happen for me, right? But, and I bring that up, not to say, hey, John works out. Okay, forget that part. But this, because as I listened to Pastor's previous two messages, and as I was meditating on what I get to share with you today, I thought about this. Like, how do we build our faith muscle? How do we build our faith muscle? And ambassadors, in this house, I believe that the Lord has made it so easy for you and for me to build our faith muscle. Unlike the gym, you have to go in and you have to put in the time and do the exercises, the cardio, the weight training, things like that, right? And fortunately, building our faith muscle does not involve that. However, building our faith muscle does involve spending time with the Lord. And I say in this house, it has been so easy because ambassadors, our messages from Pastor Prince, our messages from Pastor Sam, Pastor Josh, our Grace Revolution worship, right? Make it so easy to just hear and hear and hear so that your faith muscle is built up. And I'll tell you what prompted this is when I heard I think it's in Galatians, it says hearing, faith comes by hearing and hearing with faith. Faith comes by hearing and hearing with faith. So it occurred to me, what if like my faith is super weak at the moment? Or what if I don't have faith in this word? How can I build that faith muscle? And so that's where I started meditating and talking to the Lord about that. And that's where he led me to today. But before I could get to today and talk to you about building your faith muscle, I believe that the Lord wanted Pastor Prince to release those two messages so that you would be encouraged that as you focus on the faith, right, on his word, on his promises, on his character, right, that it's like he said, that faith appropriates what's already yours. It's not that your faith or my faith creates something in the supernatural for us to appropriate. It's that ambassadors. And this is where I'm zealous for you Ambassadors, you already have the inheritance of health, healing, and wholeness. You already have the inheritance of wealth and riches. You already have the inheritance of peace and joy and fruitful relationships. You have it. So I just want to join like where Pastor Prince is and where Pastor Sam, Pastor Josh, and all of us at GRC to just let you know that that is available to you. And one of the things he said in these two messages is it already exists in the supernatural, that by faith we appropriate it. But that means we may not see it yet, but by faith we're declaring, this is mine. Remember last week I talked about having a bold language. And by faith you're saying, this is mine. You may not feel it. In fact, you may feel the opposite. You may not see it. In fact, you may see the opposite. But by faith, even if it's that mustard seed of faith, you're saying, this is mine. This health is mine. This healing is mine. This wealth, these riches are mine, and no one can take them from me. This spouse is mine if you're looking for a spouse, and no one can take that from you. Pastor said this, and I hope this touches your heart. He said that faith is just having a good opinion of God. So ambassadors, if nothing else, because you're in this house, I pray that you do have a good opinion of God, and just know that as you do, even if, again, if you don't feel it, but you're declaring that by faith, you have faith. That is your faith, and that's a great place to start. All right, so here's my encouragement to you, ambassadors, over the next few weeks, or for the rest of this year. Yeah, for the rest of this year. Just see yourself, every time you listen to a message, every time you hear GR worship, every time you read the Bible. Hello, read the Bible. I forgot to mention that earlier. But every time you read the Bible, every time you listen to one of the messages, every time you listen to GR worship, just see yourself building your faith muscle. And as you build your faith muscle, I declare and decree that nothing will move you from the promises of God that are rightfully yours, and you will receive the inheritance that is yours right now. All right, guys? Woo! Okay, let me go check on that chicken. Okay, love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Peace out.